Today's topic is another collection. I'm doing the LA Colors Beauty in Bloom collection. And I'm doing this with one product missing, and I will explain why as I get to that. I'm going to get right into it here because there's several products to go over. So, if you haven't noticed, LA Colors has been coming in very hot in the past couple of months with several decently sized collections. We have a variety of different products to look at. And what we're looking at with this, it's probably kind of obvious by the name, Beauty in Bloom, right? That we're leaning into pinks, like the types of pinks that you would see in florals or springtime, right? Although the packaging does have lots of bows all over it. And I feel like the bow trend is completely separate from bloom. But I don't know. I don't ask questions. But of course, the colors that we have here, everything is fully wearable for the everyday. And with this collection, they are covering eyes, lips, cheeks, right? Kind of all areas of the face there. So there are actually two highlighters in this collection. I'm only able to find one. Every store that I go to, it is sold out. And as I've seen on Reddit, that is actually not a bad thing. I've seen photos of both of them, and they are equally not that great and underwhelming. So I'm glad that I'm saving my $1.25 because it would just get put in my donate bin. Okay, I'm not heartbroken about that, and that's why I've decided to proceed with the blog post, the Substack as is. But I am surprised about the consistency of the products. It's not necessarily that we have a bunch of dramatic failures here, but as you've probably noticed if you've been here for a minute, is you have really good products, you have the WTF products all at one time, and part of that is kind of what keeps me coming back for more. The drama of it, I guess. I don't know. We're going to get right into the blush duo. There's only one of these, and it is called Vintage Rouge. They did not name the shades. They just numbered them 1 and 2 on the box. And if you don't know, then you need to know by now, which I do have linked in the Substack, is I've already reviewed their blush line, the blush singles, and they are hands down one of the best blushes I've ever tried. So I was really excited for this duo. So I've also enjoyed the other blushes they put out in other collections as well. Like LA Colors just really does this type of product well. So they do have very buildable pigmentation and great staying power, just like we are used to at this point. With that being said, I find the lighter shade easier to work with, very straightforward. The darker shade was harder to blend for whatever reason. I had to spend some extra time getting it to blend out, which is atypical for LA Colors. I should also say the darker shade is, of course, not made for my skin tone as fair skin. So I wanted to try both of them. Maybe to you it looks like a bruise on my cheeks. I always worry about that when I'm wearing like a darker, almost purple toned highlighter, burgundy. It's like a burgundy purple, but it is what it is. So with that being said, I don't feel like this is that coveted LA Colors blush formula. There's just something about it, even in the lighter shade, like it worked. It just didn't seem like it was the same. I don't know. And these are shimmery, by the way. So I don't know. I gave these a 4 out of 5 stars. Just something there to be desired. But I have pictures of everything on my face, of course. Now moving into the eyeshadow, and I have this linked here, but I did a review of the Quality Glam collection. This is just like that eyeshadow, right, where you get 3 quads, and every shade is shimmer except for one matte. And it's really the same quality as those other ones, too. And I say that in a good way. These are actually really great eyeshadows from LA Colors. They are smooth, blendable, buildable, consistent. The pigment shows up. They blend how you want them to do, and they just behave, okay? There's no fallout. There's no dusty mess, no kick up, really no frustrations with them. The formula picks up easily on a brush, on your finger. You get that color payoff. You don't have to work that hard for it. With Dollar Tree eyeshadows, you always have to work a little bit more than you would say another palette, but that's fine. There is no drama here, no surprises. The product does its job. And we got 3 shades of these, and that is Cottage Core, 3 palettes, Enchanting, and Garden Party. And I gave those a 5 out of 5 star. Here's where things fall apart, is with the auto eyeliner. And if I'm remembering correctly, I have tested, yes, they're black, like their original black auto eyeliner. Nothing wrong with it. So I don't know what happened in this collection, but this is just the worst category. Ooh. So none of these have good pigmentation. They come out just like too light, sheer, not buildable. And of course I tried charcoal first and I was thinking, well, it's a black, not a gray. Maybe they just wanted it to be less pigmented than their black so they could call it charcoal. But it's the same story across all of them. And the formula itself is stiffer. It doesn't drag or skip across the skin. But that could also be a factor as to why. It lasts fine on the eyelid. On the waterline, it's just complicated because, again, you can't build the color how you want to begin with. And it does wear off in the inner and outer corner, but almost all eyeliners do that in the waterline. So, I don't know, it's just not ideal for that. And it's hard for me to fully judge the nude shade. Like, it is crap. They're all crap. But it's closer to my skin tone, so it's kind of harder to see if it's behaving or misbehaving in terms of reviewing it. I don't know. And then burgundy was just disappointing, too. So burgundy, I smudged along my lower lash line. That's the color there. It looks no better smudged than it does just trying to draw it on regular. I had charcoal on the upper lash line in the photos, and then I had the nude along the lower lash line. I gave these a 1 star. I mean, there are so many better eyeliners, even at Dollar Tree. You don't need these. Let's move into the glossy lip kits. These are really neat. I think you're going to be excited to hear about these. So each of these kits is very small. It's basically like a deluxe sample, something you would get in like an Ipsy or the ye old Sephora play box in terms of the lip gloss and the lip liner. They're pretty small. Like, I don't want to say never used a lip liner this small, but I mean, this is like Barbie doll makeup, and I'm wondering how I'm going to sharpen it because I do have a big sharpener that has like 5-6 different slots to it, but this is pretty small, like needing a specialty sharpener. So we're going to have to see. And of course, because they're small, that also means the doe foot is smaller, but that's just the size of the packaging. It is proportional this time. So I want to talk about these lip liners. They are so creamy, full coverage, matte, but they're so creamy to the point where like you do like one application, the tip wears down very quickly and it already needs sharpened. So insert, the specialty sharpener you're going to need here. But once it's on, it really does, like, it stays on well for what you're getting. 2 products for $1.25, and it does help resist bleeding and feathering of the product outside of the lip line. The LA Colors lip liners are pretty good. Even the retractable pencils I haven't told you about yet are really good. And then when it comes to the lip glosses, I keep using air quotes even though you can't see my hands because they're so much more than a lip gloss. So this formula is more like a creamy, lightweight liquid lipstick. It does not dry down, of course. And you'll kind of forget to a degree that it's on your lips. But it has really strong pigment and coverage, almost full coverage. And once that shine wears off, a lot of the color stays behind. So it really functions like a glossy lip stain. So I think about my collection, it most closely reminds me of the NYX Lip IV or the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain. So they're definitely not traditional glosses. And I gave you photos of the lip liners on my lips on their own, and then the lip liner worn with the so-called lip gloss. So that would really describe as well Bouquet and Ruffles. There's 3 shades, 3 kits. And then you move into the third one, which is Dreamy Pink, Dreamy PH Pink. It's a little different, and I'll explain why, but still the same. So the lip liner is the same, but the gloss, if you will, in the tube looks clear. Unlike the other 2 do look like a liquid lipstick as well. So what I find is you put this on, right, you get the color transformation, but most PH products come out to be the same shade of pink on me across all the brands. This one was a little bit brighter, more like a fuchsia. It was closer to that. But with that and with the lip liner and just kind of how pigmented it turned, it actually gives the illusion on the lips like it has more coverage and a clear lip gloss. So it was really cool. You'll see that in the photos there. These are all really nice. And this one really functioned like a skin tint or a lip stain tint. in terms of, that glossy layer wearing off and then seeing that fuchsia underneath. So these are really cool. I think they're worth using again. A lot of these are worth using again, but they're really neat. I gave these a 5 out of 5 star. Now we have the highlighter. So again, I only have one of the two shades. The one that I have is called Yearning. I don't even know the name of the other one. So whatever. I did see the other one on Reddit, and I'm like, it was just such a bizarre shade. I don't want it. But Yearning is too dark for me as a fair skinned person to wear it as highlighter, and the other one looks like that too. But it at least has a pink undertone. So the way that I wore it to test it, and you'll see this in the photos because I wore it as a blush topper, people on Reddit were very upset about the fact this has an overspray, and it does. I feel like in 2026 that we should be abandoning the overspray. Now the good news is it is a very sparkly metallic highlighter, so even with that overspray worn off, it still looks great, okay? So I'll put that aside. Now, it's a perfectly good highlighter or blush topper, whatever you want to use it for. But do I see myself reaching for it again to make use of it as a blush topper because they didn't make the colors suitable for me? No. I have to be realistic. It's more of like a peachy pink undertone, but yeah, I'm not gonna use it again. I gave it 2 stars. So final thoughts. What is going to my bad bin? The eyeliners. Absolutely. And yes, the highlighter. You might be a little bit surprised by this next statement, but also the blush. Why? Well, that was a harder decision for me. I want to hoard all the LA Colors blushes, of course, but this one is the weaker link in my collection. I'm less likely to reach for it again. I'm going to go for one of their permanent blush singles or the blushes from the Aquati Glam collection. Something like that, right? So if I know I'm just not going to gravitate towards it, there's no reason to have it take up space. I'll give it to somebody that would enjoy it. The eyeshadows I'm keeping. But the real surprise here, you got to admit, are the glossy lip kits. They're rolling out lip glosses. So other than that, I went in here thinking, okay, we got these tiny glasses, we got these tiny lip liners, got glossy lip stains, got excellent eyeshadow, and those facts, for the most part, do catch me off guard. So I like the aesthetics here. I like the idea of thinking of these being kind of like florals, blooming flowers. So for the most part, the products are doing their job. And this is the type of collection that I like finding at Dollar Tree. You see it, you're kind of unsure how it's going to go. You're judging it based on the packaging, right? But, you don't have to buy all this expensive luxury makeup to get a really good outcome. A lot of times nowadays, because, Dollar Tree has really come a long way. This was not the case several years ago. But you can really find these excellent formulas that are going to be your favorites on the dollar store shelf, not too far away from all those chips and snacks that you didn't need, but you got conned into somehow, some way while you were in the store. That's one of the most mind-blowing things that I've learned over the past year, because it's been just about a year now, probably pretty well a year now that I've been buying Dollar Tree makeup, and it is all hoarded and stacked up in my beauty room, because I have more makeup that I can put out week by week, And summer is a busy time. But I've been buying it for a year, and I've been really impressed. Especially compared to, my experiences many years before that. So that's it. That is our Beauty in Bloom collection. So next I'm thinking I finally want to get out all the Koki products. As far as I know, I found all of them, and just, get that rolling. And that'll give me some time with Ione Dolly's Adventure, because I want to use all of the nail pens, and I only do my nails once per week, and that's 3 weeks because there's 3 pens. I prefer to show you all of those, so I'm only on finishing week 1 right now, so that's the order that I'm thinking of going in things. And I'm sure in that time frame, like 5 other collections are going to come out from Ione and LA Colors, and I'm going to be very stressed. But that's it. Those are the things. And I'm going to get going before I overtalk, per usual. Have a good one.